Hi, folks. Welcome back to Heard It on the X, the East Coast premier music talk show. March 21st at Water Street Music Hall in Rochester. Victor Wooten and the Victor Wooten Band will be there, along with Stanley Clark. Vic's on the phone. He's going to talk to us a little bit. Hi, Victor. How you doing?
Oh, man, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for coming on. You've got a lot of stuff going on right now. You've got a re-release of A Show of Hands, correct?
That's correct, yeah. 15-year later release.
And you've also started your own label. Yeah,
I'm kind of taking things into my own hands right now, so it's an exciting endeavor.
Tell me a little bit about the label first, and then we'll do the re-release. But tell me a little bit about the label. Your label's going to be a little bit different.
Well, I mean, I hope so, and I kind of wish I didn't even have to say that, but it's Vic's Records, VIX. And, it's just a day and an age where it's a whole lot easier to start a label. With the internet and the fact that there's no real CD stores or record stores anymore, most things are already done online. So it's a whole lot easier. But, yeah, I do want to do things different. I'm not really looking for other artists, but if I find them, I just want to have a different type of relationship between record label and artists. I'm not looking to take advantage of anyone or own anybody's masters, which is the traditional way and the traditional thing that most
people. That makes it different right there, that alone.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not looking for that. I just want artists to get what they deserve and own their creations.
And it's more an artistic label from what I'm reading, more based on an artistic point of view. Is that correct?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it used to be that's the way the music was. It was about artistry,
correct,
and talent, and someone that has a special gift. And now it's more about, I'm going to sound negative, but I don't mean it, but it's more about creating idols, and looking first at who can we sell and how much can we sell, not about the talent or the skill. And I'm not saying that any of it's wrong, because, I'd like to sell too, but I like to support, gifts, talent, skill, and things like that. So, I just want a little small label that recognizes that.
There's a balance too, and I think that what the journey that you're on, you will stumble across it. There is a balance where business and artistry can work together. I know it exists. It existed before, and I know it can exist again. Talk to me about A Show of Hands 15, which is a re-release of your '96 ground-shaking album.
Yeah, A Show of Hands, when it came out in '96, was quite different for musicians to hear, because all of a sudden it was an electric bass, a 4-string electric bass, creating a whole record, no overdubs, no other instruments, and people hadn't really heard that, and as far as I know, no one had done it. So it kind of, it shook up a few people, hopefully in a good way. And when I did that, first I was doing it for myself, just to see if I could make a whole record that could keep someone's attention for the duration. And after I completed it, I thought, man, I'm going to do another one in 10 years. And then when 10 years came, it didn't feel necessary. And even today, 15 years later, new bass players, young bass players are still finding out about this CD and are learning from it. And now I'm meeting bass players that are going out and doing concerts by themselves, playing in restaurants, doing house concerts. And it's really flattering. And what it's letting me know is I don't need to do this again. It's time for maybe someone else to do it.
That has to be a great feeling, though, for you, too, just even what you just said. I mean, realizing that you've influenced the instrument and the artistry that much that bass players are doing solo gigs in restaurants. Right. That's got to feel great.
It feels wonderful. It really does feel wonderful to know that you've had a direct influence on a bunch of musicians. And also on the instrument. The instrument can now be recognized in the same way that a piano or a guitarist can get up and play a complete song by himself. Now, people are starting to realize that the bass guitar can do the same thing. That feels good.
And this was a monumental album. I mean, it got you dubbed as the Michael Jordan of bass, and compared, the most important bass player since Jocko. Which, I mean, that in and of itself had to be some pretty heavy accolades. That would be nerve-wracking to me. If I were you.
You're kind of right. It's flattering and a little nerve-wracking at the same time. For one, I didn't do the record to shake up any grounds. I did it really, for one, just to see if I can do it, But at the same time, it's letting me know how it's affected other people. And that's a nice thing, to know that other people have been affected, strongly and powerfully by the recording. That does really make me feel good.
I know Joshua has a couple questions for you, Victor. So here's Josh.
I know you were saying, you started that album just sort of testing it out, seeing if you could do it. Along the way, or when it was finished, did you start to get that feeling that, this is something monumental, or that you were shaking stuff up? Or when did you get that feeling?
Absolutely. Going through the process, I knew it was going to be a special recording, and I did know that it was going to surprise some people and shake some people up. And after I recorded it, all I had was a cassette tape, but I was able to get that cassette tape into a few key people. I was playing a type of bass called a Fodera, and they're made in Brooklyn, New York, and they were making a bass for one of my heroes, Marcus Miller. They were making a bass for him, and I happened to be at the shop just before they were about to mail his bass out. And so I stuck a cassette tape in the bass case with my phone number and with the whole record of A Show of Hands. And I did that to a few people. I was able to get one to another great bass player, Anthony Jackson, and as well as Stanley Clark, and I was also able to get one to Chick Corea. And it was amazing because I didn't know any of these people.
Yeah, I mean, that's an amazing feat in and of itself, man. That's pretty.
It was pretty crazy. It really was crazy that these opportunities were coming up, that I was able to get in touch with these people. And at the moment, I don't even remember how I got it to Chick, but I did get a call from him. But it was interesting, and this record wasn't out yet, and I was still trying to figure out what to do with it. But I remember getting a call from people like Marcus Miller and Anthony Jackson and even Chick Corea, and just hearing their words, especially being my heroes, hearing their words let me know, okay, this is a good thing. People are liking it. If they're liking it, I think other people will like it too. So they were very helpful mentally for me, just to letting me know that, yeah, you did something that's worthwhile.
Yeah, getting support, I mean, from people who were your heroes and giants in your field had to be incredible. You deserve a lot of credit too, though, man. I mean, because a lot of times there's great artists who just don't get the business end of things. I mean, and for you to even have the wherewithal to find these opportunities, to get it to Marcus Miller, to get it to Chick Corea, and follow up on it. You deserve a lot of credit for that, man.
Well, I appreciate it. My mom always told us kids growing up, she said, if you treat life right, life will treat you right. And I've just kind of followed that model, and it's opportunities that I've needed have always just turned up. Because I remember getting the idea when I finished the record, I wanted to shop it to some labels, and I didn't really know anybody at labels, but I did know about artists. And so what I did, instead of looking for labels, I looked for artists that I could get this record to, and then I in hopes that these artists would take it to their record labels and say, hey, you need to check this out. And I felt that would speak louder than some unknown bass player calling in, doing a cold call. And it did seem to have helped.
Even that, though, man, that's such a powerful statement that you just said, because you're this young unknown guy and you're sliding a cassette tape of bass work to Marcus Miller. I mean, that's you deserve so much credit for all this stuff. I'm smiling thinking about this scenario while you're talking. It's amazing.
It was pretty neat, I mean, you can imagine, you get a bass in the mail and you go through the pocket and there's a cassette tape in there. Of course you're going to listen to it. I'm sure you and Marcus have had conversations about this, correct? Oh yeah. Marcus and I are now great friends, and as well as Stanley Clark, and we can all remember our first meeting. Now we've all done work together. Even Chick Corea, we've done work together. And yeah, they all remember that. And it's very, very flattering.
That's fantastic. We're going to take a small commercial break and come back on the other side of the break with Marcus Miller, who's going to be playing, I'm sorry, with Victor Wooten. You got me thinking about Marcus Miller, who's going to be playing March 21st at Water Street Music Hall with the Victor Wooten Band and the Stanley Clark Trio. Stick around, folks.